Welcome back, my little shining stars and bats of the night. I am Bartel, and you're tuned into Not the Waves on KWIMM 89.9, Piney Way, in Morro Bay. So, we are continuing our conversations about the eerie and unsettling world of wendigos and skinwalkers. These are creatures of ancient legend, known for their terrifying transformations. Let's see. Is there somebody else that wants to call in? Hopefully it's a little shorter this time. As much as I love these tales, I'm only getting older. Okay? Thank you. Alright, yes, there we go, caller.
Hi, Bart. Thanks for taking my call. I've just got a story about what happened a few years ago when I was camping in Death Valley with some of my girlfriends.
Yes, Death Valley. It's a wonderful place. Hopefully you stayed hydrated. Yeah. Hopefully you didn't get too sunburned. That whole area is very fascinating.
So we went out to Death Valley for a bachelorette party. We kind of called it the death of being single, so we figured Death Valley would be the best place to go and visit. We all like hiking and playing guitar around the fire, those kinds of things. And we went out to this really remote spot, miles away from any signs of civilization. The desert was vast and silent and kind of quiet that made you feel like you were the only people left in the world. And we were sitting around the fire, and we were just talking about you, actually, Bart. We were talking about your wonderful tales and how spooky they are. Unfortunately, we didn't have any reception, so we couldn't listen to them while we were there, but I just want to let you know that, people are always talking about you, Bart.
Oh, my dear lady, how very sweet. I am so flattered you would talk about me on your girls' trip. I used to be, back in the day, quite a handsome young man, but now I'm just old and wrinkly. Anyways, Death Valley is a wonderful place, I will give you that, and, my voice is perfect for that kind of an atmosphere. Again, shame you didn't have any, recordings. Download them next time before you go.
I will most definitely do that, Bart. I'm sorry we didn't have it for this trip. Anyway, so my girlfriends and I were camping, and it was around midnight when we were sitting around the campfire just telling ghost stories, talking about you, and we heard this low, guttural growl coming from the darkness. And in the desert, there's not a lot of trees and foliage for things to hide behind. It's pretty vast and empty, and at first we thought it might be a coyote, but the sound was way too deep and too menacing. We shined our flashlights out into the night, but all we could see were these shifting shadows of the desert. Then one of my friends noticed something moving just beyond the edge of the light. It looked like a large animal, maybe a wolf or a coyote, but there was something off about it. Something just didn't feel right.
Oh dear, I hope it wasn't my friend Lupine.
No, it definitely was not lupine. However, I wish it kind of was. But as we watched, this creature stood up on its hind legs and began to change. Its limbs elongated and its fur seemed to melt away, revealing this gaunt humanoid figure. Its eyes glowed with this unnatural light and let out a chilling, almost haunting human scream. These stories, the funny thing about them is they're so similar. Like the gentleman that was just on the phone before, like when I was hearing him explain his story in Flagstaff, I was like, this guy's legit. I've legit seen these things. So I'm sorry if the circumstances of my story is very similar to his, but I'm just saying that there's something out there. Anyways, I need to stop talking about that, but we were like paralyzed in fear, and it started to move towards us, very jerky and unnatural, and one of my friends in a panic threw a burning log from the campfire at it. She literally just put her hands into the fire pit, picked it up, and chucked it at this thing. Sparks were flying. We're all looking at her like she's been nuts. Anyways, it was insane. So when she threw it at it, the creature snarled and backed away, and it disappeared back into the night. We didn't sleep at all, keeping the fire burning as bright as we could, staying alert for any signs of this creature's return. At the first light we packed up and got out of there as fast as we could. Later we learned, mostly from the rangers over there, that skinwalkers are known to roam this part of the desert, and our encounter matched descriptions pretty perfectly with what other people have seen. So I decided I was never going camping back there again. Now I'm pretty sure I'll never go to Flagstaff based on that gentleman's story before, and I just feel like my world is getting smaller and smaller based on these creatures being just out there, man.
Fascinating, caller. Oh, I definitely think they are out there. To what capacity, I am unsure. I'm not quite sure if they are just waiting for the opportunity to scare somebody, or if they're just passing through and you just happen to be there. These stories vary a lot, but have a lot of similarities, and what I can seem to fathom is skinwalkers and wendigos seem to like campfires. Maybe it's the smell, maybe it's the food that people cook on them, hot dogs and things like that. It's hard to know. I often wonder, do skinwalkers ever get tired of scaring campers and just want a peaceful night under the stars? Or is there a thrill of the hunt that's just too irresistible for them? Perhaps. We will never know.